Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andressa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andressa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, where we are on a mission, right, Andressa, to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life.
Whatever balance means to you.
Yes, and living life on your own terms. And that's really important to us. It's important to people. It's certainly important to women. And that's what we stand for. And that's what our mission is all about. So what do we have this week is another mini-sode where in 10 minutes or less, we dive into a topic to support you in some of one of the three ways that we know how to support is obviously investing, is business operations, and just, really, continually improving how we run our investing portfolio as a business, and self-care. And there's so many aspects of self-care, but we dive into so many different ones, but it's holistic. We never teach or do anything in our community that's not holistically focused, because it's not just investing to make the most money. There's so much more than that for women and for the women we serve and the women we hope to be serving. And thank you for joining us again for another episode. That's what we're get us out of the bed every morning. Andressa and I, we're here to serve women in so many different ways. And we hope this week is going to be important enough to stay on with us. So Andressa, what is happening this week?
Well, Liz, let me tell you, I have been a high achiever, borderline workaholic my entire life. That's how I'm known for. However, from a couple of years from now, we stand right for living a financially free and balanced life. So the balance piece, I had to really try to reframe. I had to reframe and continue reframe the things that are very unconscious to me. And one of them, it's the feeling of not accomplishing or finishing up a project or moving as fast as I wanted to be. And then it gives me a little bit of anxiety, frustration. And I want to share with you guys here 4 things that I have done in order to move along with being okay, moving the needle forward. So one thing that I would say is that as you grow your real estate investment business, as you grow, there are other things that come with the business itself behind the scenes that will require time. So it's inevitable that the feeling of overwhelming and having different buckets going on and moving along at the same time. There was a point in my career where I was managing 15 projects at the same time, and they were in different phases. So think about this. Like I imagine, when you're in the circus, that you have that person with the plates and just trying to here, there, and not try to let the plate fall down. Many times I felt like that. So here are the things that I have put in place. And the number one is what success looks like to me, not to others, but to me. What does that really mean in a daily basis, right? Number one to me is do I choose my schedule? Yes, that's number one to me. So yep, I can check that, right? Did I drop my son off at school? People usually wave their check. I want to wave, I dropped my son at school today. That is something that I like to do, right? So that's important to me. Did I spend time checking myself today? That is, if I did, that is a check mark. I have all the projects going on. I cannot accomplish all of them today. I know that, but my brain is just oh, you didn't accomplish enough, or here you're stuck over here. So I have those mental lists in my head about what does it really mean to be successful to me. And that serves as a guide for me of everything that I'm going to talk to you guys now. So
can I ask you a quick question? Because this is a really important one. how did you get clarity of what success looks like for you? Because it's such a easy question to ask, but it's the answer of it takes mental, emotional, spiritual, physical focus. I mean, it's not just this whim of like, do I want a burger or do I want hot dog? It's much deeper of a. So I'm curious, what
Absolutely.
was your process of figuring that out?
Well, just a quick tip. There's this concept, very detailed on the book called The Gap in the Gain, that you guys can listen to it and get very deeper. But it comes down to, what does it really mean to me to be successful? Holistically, not just in real estate itself. To me, it's very attained to the freedom of time to be able to work from wherever I am, with whomever I am, with excited projects. I want to work with people that I respect them a lot and I have fun with them. I like that. That is successful to me. To start projects that I have no experience with, or something that is very new to me, that excites me. I want to be engaged in something that I don't know a thing about, but it's exciting. That's something that I am like, okay, if I am engaged in something where I'm not the expert, that's good. If I have, like, my family, what do we have going on that I'm excited about? It's about the quality of the time and memories that I want to create with them. My friends, what do we have going on? So it's all about you. It's all about you. What do you feel? It's your criteria. That is the guide for me to say yes to things and say no to a lot of things. If that does not meet my criteria, we get pitched a lot of things here for the real estate investor. And sometimes I like, oh, is this a good move or not? And I go back to our overall goals and personally, my success criteria. Does that fit there? If it doesn't fit, it's a no. It needs to be like a hell yeah. Otherwise, it's a no. Right. But going back to the second thing that I do besides the success criteria is delegating. If you are growing, you got to delegate. And I say, and that is a process, ladies. It's not something that, oh, I took this pill and now I don't have to deal with that anymore. No, I have to deal with that anymore because my brain has a default. And the default is that you can do it very quickly. So just do it. Right. So when that happens, I go back to my success criteria, right? Should I put together those slides? I like putting together slides. I should not. It's not based on my success criteria, what I have going on right now, right? Should I be on this strategic meeting with a partner for future projects in the future that for 2020? Yes. Right? Strategically, I need to be on that call. So the delegation is every single action I need to think about. Why I need to fight with myself. It's like, right? How can I negotiate in my brain? Should I do it or should not? And I need to win my brain over. And my success criteria is what has given me the power to do that. The other things that make me feel better is that I divide things in phases. So that's what moving the needle forward means to me. I have a project, right? You have a project going on. So how can I divide that in phases? And then you might say, even the phases are too big, interest. I say, I agree with you. One thing that I would say is that go to mini actions. I can make one phone call today. It's one phone call. I can write one email. It is something that moves the needle forward. So if I do that, I don't feel stuck. But I need to do something about that project or that situation, or schedule that phone call to have a conversation with somebody to move the needle forward. And that is the exactly the same thing. However, Liz, here's the trap. At the end of the day, right? My brain goes to the default, or, oh, but you have not done X, Y, Z and all of that. So I look at the things that I accomplished and I match that with my success criteria, right? Just to prove to my brain and to retrain, to reframe, not to prove, but to reframe my brain. Listen, this is what success looks like. I accomplish what I said I would accomplish. I move the needle forward. And the way that I'm showing it to you is that I'm putting together what I have accomplished with my success criteria, and they match. So indeed is a successful day. So check that. So it's like a training. It's a reframing, literally reframing my brain as I go along, because I need to unlearn a lot of things that I learned throughout my life. And that's how I have been doing so far. And I hope it helped you guys.
So quick question. That's a great process. We're gonna be putting more meat to that process. So keep an eye out for that. I'm curious though, how has it helped you feel differently? How did you used to feel, and how has it helped you feel differently and then think differently?
Very simple. I have my weekly plan, my daily plan. So I have to-do lists all over, right? So my brain usually, when I don't see that I accomplish every single thing on my to-do list, and going back to being a high performer, I have a lot on my to-do list to perform, right? So when I don't check all those boxes, my brain goes, okay, you didn't do it. It didn't matter how much I did, right? Didn't matter. Or you just didn't do it. Not today. I didn't check all of it. So right now I say, listen, the default is that feeling, right? But how I move through it.
Frustration, lack, beating yourself up.
Yeah. But the way that I do it is that I look at the things that I did, and I say, did I move the needle forward? On the book, The Gap and the Gain, say, did it help the boat move faster? In my case is, did I move the needle forward? That is the question that I ask myself. And the answer is yes. I moved the needle forward on those priorities here. And that's what's important. So I tell my brain, Rhonda, this is it. We did it. High five. Let's go.
When you reframe things and you have a more effective way of looking at things and dealing with things, it doesn't just impact yourself. It impacts your team. It impacts your partnerships. It impacts everyone. So this is not the first time I'm hearing about moving the needle. It's like, oh, wow, that's an interesting concept. We talk about it a lot. We even use those words. So it's actually part of our culture of how we're running Invest Her.
Yes.
And we did something. You're like, well, it's great. We've moved the needle forward. And you say that all the time. I say it all the time. So my point in saying that is, when you really, when you reframe things for yourself, it really is very powerful. You'll know it's happening and working when your people around you hear it and they say it. So that's just a quick little tip, right? Start using those words that you're looking to take on, use them and impact other people. Because I'll say to Andressa, well, we've moved the needle. And you're like, yeah, I've been working on this forever. And it's great, right?
Yes.
Well, it's good stuff. Awesome topic. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback. How are you moving the needle? And that's why we've created our Facebook community that has over almost close to 10,000 women, not just for questions, not just to find an accountant or an attorney, which are important things, but we'd love to hear how you're taking what we're teaching here and talking about into your life.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.